Interesting how Amazon and Amazon Prime has permanently shifted the perception among consumers that shipping ought to be free. Just full stop. And it just feels like the idea of ever paying for shipping at this point is just like, well, how much more do I have to spend to get the free shipping? Because I'll just go ahead and do that. It just feels like this loss.
Yeah.
And it's
And
obviously psychologically, it's such a great trick, and it makes no actual sense economically. But yet here we are.
yeah, and that comes down though as a marketing strategy as well, right? So like being
Yeah.
able to put that into like, okay, how am I going to get that return customers? So
Hmm.
marketing is not just about that first conversion, it's about the return conversion as well. And so sometimes you'll see marketing and account management or customer success managers, they're kind of in their silos. Once you can bring these two together, and it's about those return customers and that return customer experience. So if you can intersect, let's say, all of the data you get from people on your marketing websites and your marketing areas, and you bring in that intersection of that actual customer data, whether that's in your order inventory, your shipping, what they're buying, what they're looking at, and you bring that data set together. If we get back to that data strategy, all of this is structured data. You can now use technology, use Gen AI and other AI to actually give a more relevant experience back to that user, whether they are logged in and shopping on your site or they're seeking your websites elsewhere, because those two data sets can come together.
Fascinating. I don't know if I would have thought to combine those two. And from an agency perspective, the idea of combining the information of marketing and account management is an interesting idea.
Well,
It's
yeah, because marketing is anonymous data, right? You're getting a lot of
yeah.
anonymous data about somebody, and eventually they do become a customer if you convert them.
Hmm.
And now you have customer data coming along with it. But they're still transversing all of your marketing artifacts as well, and sometimes still anonymously, and or
Yeah.
you still have a tracking on them because of they're logged into your other artifacts.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to
That
noodle
is
on that one.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
called the
Okay.
world of CDP, customer data platforms, and how they can bring together your anonymous marketing data with your actual customer data.
Well, I'll use this as a bit of a contrived segue. Speaking of acronyms, let's go back to CMSs. We touched briefly earlier on how Gen AI and CMSs can integrate, and you gave the example of feeding unstructured design data into a CMS, and you specifically used Drupal as an example. And in this case, feeding Drupal like a Figma file or even something like a physical sketch or a doodle as an image, and using Gen AI to say, give me a Drupal page that looks like this sketch or this Figma file. And Gen AI can not only produce a page that looks like that, but can actually create structured data, the fields and the forms and the content types and all of that stuff. It can create the intent, or understand the intent around that sketch, that design. What are some other ways that you see AI and CMSs integrating in the future, particularly as it relates to marketing use cases?
Yeah, the other areas, I mean, there's many of them. I would say the other probably most exciting areas are the ones that can transform how marketing is done, is the areas of localization and accessibility. So as we think about the volume of content or the amount of different type of content that you need to create and then build on a CMS, a lot of it is to attract a different audience or to get your to get your message out to different regions. And so what we see in the capabilities with Gen AI is now this ability to do all of that translation for you in your own brand voice and tone, and to be able to now localize your websites into many versions, or to have different imagery in all of those versions. So if you think about the ability to create Videos is one of the most engaging forms of content right now. They are very time consuming to create and cost a lot of money to localize these. But what you can do with Gen AI now is you can start with a video that maybe you've already crafted, and then you can edit it and augment the different scenes and clips and things like that for those specific localized areas very rapidly, because there's structured data that's sitting behind to say, this is an image that would work in this region, this is an image that works in that region, or these are the product lines that I am selling over here in EMEA, and these are the product lines that I'm selling in LATAM. So like all of that structured data can now be used to localize your content very quickly so that you can reach more audiences.